Joe Rotella is here, and he has brought the fire. I mean, quite literally, right? Because we are using a torch, which sounds a little bit scary to me, but you promised me it's actually really, really easy.
It is, and we're going to use a butane torch, the same kind you'd have in your kitchen, like to make creme brulee.
Oh, well, I like creme brulee.
You don't want to use a big propane torch. Butane torch is the way to go.
Okay, so how do we get started?
Well, we're going to be safe, of course, so I've got a fire extinguisher here just in case, but don't panic.
Let's hope we don't need it.
Don't panic. And so we're going to make a tray. Now, this is one technique that I would say you should practice.
Okay.
Make sure you get it right. So I started by just cutting some wood into some blocks and one big piece. That's going to be the base of our tray. And then pre-drill some holes. That's going to put these little feet right on the bottom and holes for the handles on top. But I don't want to focus on that part because I like the fire part. I really like the fire part. So these stencils are metal.
And that's important, obviously, when we do not want to be using a plastic stencil when you're working with a butane torch.
But you can still do all the same things that you would do with a plastic stencil. Like you could push paint through this, right? And you could emboss with it.
Yeah.
We want a wood that's very, very smooth and flat. That's very important for this. And again, practice your technique. I'm working on a wood board, and I want to get everything out of the way, because when I'm done, I'm just going to push the stencil off, because it's going to be hot.
I was going to say, it's going to get super hot.
Now, this is a very flat board, but it's always helpful to have a screwdriver here to hold the stencil down
because it's going to get so hot.
Yeah, and you don't want the flame to go under the stencil. If we have time, I'll show you some mistakes.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to fire up my torch. Whew, my favorite part. And now you don't want to sweep side to side because you don't want like lines. So we're going to just hold the torch in a steady motion, and I'm going to work my way right
going fast.
Across the
I didn't
stencil.
think it would be quite so fast.
So we might have time to burn lots of things.
So obviously you're putting text on here, but I know that you can also do designs of all kinds. You have some samples here where I can see there's a bear and like a paw print, a dog bone. There are a lot of different choices. So you could go with a combination, which you see you've also done in a couple places.
And they're even just the letters, so you could spell your own words.
Well, and you know, I want to put Julie on absolutely everything.
Of course. Now, there's even a little bat. I'm going to put it on a bat house.
You know, I was actually expecting to smell burning wood, and I really don't. It must be such a light scorch you're getting on there.
And again, I think that's because it's the butane torch rather than a propane torch.
And I see how you're moving the screwdriver sort of down as you work.
So we're all done. You don't want to touch this.
Right.
Just push it off.
And that's why you have that big wood board underneath.
And that's it. We just have to attach our handles, and we're good to go.
That's amazing.
Now, let me show you a couple of practice, because again, practice is really important here.
I always say, you know, you're going to call them mistakes. That's what you said, but they're not mistakes. They're basically learning opportunities.
Well, and you may want that effect. So here, this is an old 2x4. It's very rough.
Okay.
And I didn't hold the stencil down with a screwdriver, so it made these little marshmallow puffs. See the little marshmallow puffs?
I do, but I kind of like the rougher look even a little bit.
I think it's pretty cool. And on this side, I hit the wood with the torch first just to see what would happen, and then burned the word on top.
And you can still see it. It's a little less legible.
Yeah, yeah. Here, this again has a pretty rough surface. I mean, you can hear my nail maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can see that it gave us those little lines where it hit every bit of grain.
Interesting.
And on particle board, I got this kind of a fuzzy look.
Oh, it's so soft.
Again, I didn't hold it down, but when I held it down with the screwdriver, it really kept it nice. And different woods, mahogany, redwood, aspen, they're all going to give you slightly different look.
So that's just another good idea that you should practice, practice, practice.
And the stencils are reusable. You just wash them down. They're ready to go. So we have the little woof to hold my dog leash when I take the dog for a walk. And the s'mores is just a slice of a log.
I mean, let's fire up that butane torch and have some s'mores is really what I'm thinking.
I'm ready. a little jewelry holder. I mean, really, it's anything you can think of. And what I think would be cool if you had a cabin is this bottle opener with the bear. Take the same bear stencil, red plaid material, push white paint through it to get bears, sew it up, and make pillows. And the pillows are going to match the wall piece.
That's a really cute idea. So here's another question that I have for you, which is you could obviously, I've seen you've done sort of like an unfinished tray, but if you wanted to put food on top of there and have it be more of a cheese board, couldn't you cover that with a piece of glass or even a resin that was food safe or something like that?
Or enough layers of that clear acrylic.
So obviously you made this tray, but this would work just as well if you can find those unfinished wood pieces that they sell everywhere, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is it easier to burn it if it's not a pre-made piece, or is it okay to do that?
You know, in hindsight, this might have been easier to burn if I didn't put the legs on because it would hold flat. And I could have put two pieces side by side. Let's see if he's cool. He's cool now.
I like that you're testing it with your hand. That
down
feels
here,
a little
though,
dangerous.
down here. But I could have put another one here to help prevent this from wobbling.
Okay.
The key to success is a smooth surface, unfinished wood, nice and tight. So I used the screwdriver to help balance this, but an extra block here would have held it in place and helped as well.
And is there any difference when you're burning words versus an image? Because obviously there's a much larger open space like in the bear than there is in the text. Do you have to use the torch differently?
So if we're going to do an image, like this is a fish, a bass, you either want to work top to bottom or like left to right. And you can go back and forth, but what you don't really want to see is this kind of a motion.
So almost the way a
just
printer
slow
works.
Back and forth. Exactly.
You want to just kind of go across. Great tips.
And practice, practice, practice.
That's true for everything, Joe. Thank you.
Sure.